Hey guys. So I saw Babylon last week and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. And it's probably not for the reasons that you're assuming. I'm sure you're thinking, oh, I can't stop thinking about how long it is. It's 3 hours long. Or I can't stop thinking about what a colossal box office failure it was for a movie with such a huge cast and a big name director who did movies such as Whiplash and La La Land. And that's true. I have thought about that. Maybe you're thinking, I can't stop thinking about how poorly marketed it was. And that's a big thing that I'm thinking about for sure. Um, it was really poorly marketed. And I don't want to get too much into it because there's already a big video that goes pretty well into what I want to discuss in regards to the advertising and how pretty much they just make it seem like one big crazy party the entire movie. And that's not how it is at all. It really just follows these people around in silent era Hollywood in their journeys to the transition to sound. Um, and that leads me to what you may have already been noticing, which is how familiar that sounds. So, one of my favorite movies in the world is Sing in the Rain. And it turns out that I am not alone in this. The director of Babylon, actually, his favorite movie is Sing in the Rain. Apparently, they used to watch it every day on the La La Land set for inspiration of like kind of the energy that they wanted to deliver and their general idea of like a movie musical that's not like an adaptation of a stage musical. And while I personally didn't really like La La Land, I can also see what people do like about it. Babylon was different for me though. Uh, so the director describes it as sort of a dark companion piece to Sing in the Rain, and I have to agree. Sing in the Rain is like the glamorized, fun, almost good ending to, the transition between the silent era and the talkies. And Babylon is much more raw. It shows Hollywood and the way that it actually was, like pre-code. So we get, all these actors who they're not in a union. There's no standards. People are getting physically injured and hurt. There's these crazy Hollywood parties, but the sets are insane too. The way that they found people was crazy. Just, it's a level of depravity that we would kind of scoff at now. And we think of, this time as being, people will think of early 20th century. It's like, oh, this time where everyone was prim and proper. And it's like, that's not true at all, especially in Hollywood. And it, the way that it follows these characters too is also kind of like a darker version of Sing in the Rain. There's some articles about this that I think are great if you want to get into kind of the spoiler territory, if you're okay with that. Also, if you maybe after you watch the movie, but you haven't seen Sing in the Rain, and so you want to see these comparisons, you don't have to have seen Sing in the Rain to like this movie. I just think it's a little added bonus as I was watching it. I did not know that it was connected to Sing in the Rain at all, but I noticed all these references. Some are really obvious and some are not so. And so, as a big fan of Sing in the Rain, it being like in my top 5 favorite movies of all time, it was, it was like a big, I don't know, it was just a nice like Easter egg for me. And then it just became even more and more kind of pertinent to the plot, and I could kind of see where things were going in a way. Really good. I actually really recommend the movie. I'd say the first 10 minutes I wasn't super into. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to watch this whole thing. I'll probably turn it off after a bit. But then I just kept getting more and more sucked in. I think the 3 hours goes by really well. I wouldn't recommend seeing it in theaters just because you can't press pause, and you can't like kind of play on your phone. I know that's not what you're supposed to say about a movie, but a movie of that length, I think it's totally warranted if you want to like do a puzzle at the same time or knit or like do crossword or something, because while I didn't ever want to turn it off, like I was super engrossed at the same time. Some of us need to do things with our hands and stuff for that length of time, and I totally get that. Um, yeah, overall, I was just really impressed. I was impressed by the acting. I think this is like the best I've seen Margot Robbie. I also think that Brad Pitt is subdued in a way that I actually really appreciated. I was super happy to see Tobey Maguire back at it, acting again, especially in a role like this. I thought that that was really cool. And then everyone else was like incredible as well. Um, I just think that the writing and the filmmaking is very, I don't know, I feel like it's super super polished. Um, I really liked, especially the way that action was directed. I never felt overwhelmed by the action, but there was constantly so much going on. And I felt like the way that the camera followed it and we were kind of put in the environment was really helpful. I always knew where to look, and that helped a lot, because it wasn't just like looking at this giant mass of things happening, which is my problem with like a lot of Marvel movies, is that I can never really tell what's going on. A lot of the choreography is super muddled. With the camera work and the lighting and all the CGI, and it's just like I don't know where I'm supposed to be looking, and I feel like this fixed that. And so I always knew where I was supposed to be looking, what I was supposed to be paying attention to. The film was also significantly more raw than the advertising makes it seem like. There was a lot of kind of touching moments, and characters, and they really kind of show rather than tell a lot in like the personal struggles of the characters. It's not like, oh, this character is an alcoholic, and so you see them surrounded by like bottles of alcohol and they're like waking up hungover or whatever. It's not like so obvious like that. It's more just in the way that they interact with other people. You can kind of see what they're dealing with. So that was another aspect I really enjoyed. So overall, I don't really know if I could assign like a number rating to this, but it's a definite thumbs up for me. I'll probably watch again soon, which is crazy to say about a 3-hour movie. And I've already told my parents to watch it. So I've been recommending it to people, but I have been saying just kind of get through the first 10 minutes. There's some people that are going to like the first 10 minutes. I personally just didn't really like it that much, and I also don't think that it represents the rest of the movie well. So if you watch it and you're in the first 10 minutes and you think about turning off, don't. Wait at least 30 minutes and then see if you want to. I totally get it if you want to back out after that point, but give it a fair shot, because I think that this movie has a lot great to offer and is getting none of that recognition. So those are the reasons why I can't stop thinking about Babylon.